Hi everyone, I'm Hanna. Welcome to another week on my allotment. For those of you who are new here, I'm based outside Oxford in the UK. This is a village allotment and the climate is temperate oceanic with mild winters and cool summers. Or similar to zone 8A or B, if that's something you're more familiar with. Let's see what I got up to this week. After a foggy and frosty night, it is now absolutely glorious. I started out on the plot with a hat, scarf and a coat, and now I am down to my base layers. So that just shows how warm it is. I've had to prop the window open in the greenhouse because bees keep getting stuck in there and it's also very hot. The first thing I'm gonna do is just water everywhere. I've just filmed a plot tour that'll hopefully come out this afternoon for you all, and it's just showing what I've got growing at the end of February on the plot. It's not much, so it'll be a quick watch. The majority of the stuff is in the greenhouse at the moment. But yeah, so things to do. The manure needs to move. The greenhouse base needs to be dug out a bit behind me, the new greenhouse, and then the whole vlog, I need to do repotting of my chilies, peppers and aubergines because they're growing out of their little module trays. So there's quite a lot of big jobs and also a lot of seeds to sow still, all my flower seeds. So yeah, there's quite a lot to do, and I need to continue with the mulching. The forever and never-ending mulching needs to continue. So we'll see how far we get this week and how far we get today. Wow, what an evening. It's been an amazing day. It's been almost like, I don't know, like a May day. It's pretty crazy. So warm and really, really hot in the greenhouse. I've had to have the window open all day. So I managed to repot all my chilies, aubergines and peppers, and I managed to do it outside because it was so hot, but now I have to bring them inside. It's almost 5 o'clock and the temperature is dropping fairly quickly, so time to get them inside. So the chilies maybe weren't necessarily crying out for being repotted, but they were starting to shade each other under the grow lights because they were growing so close to each other. So I thought it was the time to get rid of the seedlings I don't want, and I managed to thin it down so I have 2 of each, and the rest, most of them I've given away, thank God. I hate binning seedlings, but yeah, I'm fairly proud of myself. I still have quite a lot and I don't know how I'm gonna fit them all into the grow lights, but yeah, I have no choice. Yeah, and I had some helpers here and they actually managed to get all the manure over to where it's supposed to go. I'm so happy, it's so good. It's a relief. It's done and it's in the sun right now and it's looking excellent. Yeah, very, very productive day. And also the lavender hedge, one section of it that I have in front of my allotment has been weeded and the grass has been set back a bit, so they won't be strangled by the grass this year, I hope. I still need to mulch it, but it's looking much better. Just need to get the other 2 sections done now. So I have bulbs planted in here. I cannot for the life of me remember what those bulbs were. I think they might be those massive big alliums, but I guess we'll see. Hopefully they haven't been disturbed too much by the weeding, but I hope not. But yeah, I'm really happy with today's work, and I'm just sorry that I have to go to work tomorrow. The new greenhouse is still not done, but yeah, I guess there's always next week. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see if we can get some done during the week here. You never know. It's Monday, late afternoon, and I had a working lunch so I could finish a bit early, and it's just divine down here. It's just so relaxing. The bees are buzzing about, and the dog is sort of sleeping in the sun. Oh, she's up again. And I need to sow some more seeds. And I can't think of anything more pleasant to do right now, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sow some multi-sown beetroot, which will be the first March sowing. And the only beetroot you should sow this early, really, is boltardy. The other ones are just likely to run to seed if you sow it this early. Yeah, so that'll be a good little sowing, I think. So the beetroot sowing is part of the Grow Along for Life, the Grow Along I run through my newsletter. You can sign up via the link in the description down below. And not on the list actually, but something I will sow is parsnips, and those are direct sown. And for the Grow Along, I actually put it on sowing in May because I thought by that point people will know if their seeds have germinated or not, and it would be like the last hurrah for sowing parsnips. So they can be a bit tricky to germinate, but I might just include them now in the March newsletter as well, just in case people want to maybe know my little tips and tricks. And I realize now with hindsight that probably would have been the better thing to do. I hope people don't mind I add in parsnips in March too. It's quite good to sow parsnips later in the year too, because then you get different types of harvest, right? The stuff you sow now, I mean, I'd already eaten that before the first frost because A, I couldn't wait. B, I love the flavour of early parsnips. I'm not one for sweet veg really, or sweet food, so I prefer them before the frosts get to them. I like to pull them when they're still quite young. So the ones sown now will obviously be ready sooner. And then if you want Christmas parsnips, maybe a later sowing is a good idea. Obviously if you want those ginormous ones, but who really enjoys eating those, you know? But if you really want those, then yeah, definitely sow in March. So I also thought I'd get going with my flower sowings. So I didn't manage to sow any flowers in February, and there is quite a lot to do, so I thought I'd get as many done today as possible. And then I also did not manage to sow my broad beans in February, so those are still yet to do. But that's not too many things to sow, is it? But yeah, I better get down to it. It's just such a lovely afternoon. Absolutely divine. Right, so I sowed peas for shoots early on at the end of January because they were part of the Grow Along. And I think only 4 out of 6 came up. Or was it? Maybe, I can't remember now, but I think I lost 3 modules. So I'm gonna sow some again. And this time I'm gonna put in a few more seeds, just in case. And then I'm gonna multi-sow some beetroot as well. So both of these are multi-sown. The pea is multi-sown. I think you can go up to 4 to 5. You can stick to 3 if you're growing for pods. I would still multi-sow, but only 3 maximum. With shoots you can go up to 5. So for the beetroot I'm gonna put in 5 seeds, and you don't want more than 5 actual beetroot growing in a clump. So with beetroot seed they kind of tend to several seedlings can come from one seed, so they're quite interesting. So even if you put in 5 seeds, you might end up with 7 seedlings, right? So you have to thin them out. It's very important. No! Sorry, the dog is just barking at random people walking past. But yeah, so the multi-sowing is just fairly easy. For me, the good thing about multi-sowing is that I can get ahead. So beetroot and things like that would take up so much space if I single sowed them in modules in the greenhouse. Obviously there's nothing wrong with direct sowing beetroot, and you know, you will maybe lose quite a few to slugs and things like that, but you know, if you just sow enough seeds you will get beetroot and you will get good harvest. It's not that multi-sowing is will give you a better crop than direct sowing. I'm not saying that, but it means that you can get ahead and you can sow them in the greenhouse, and by sowing them multiple in a module you're saving space, and then when the beds are ready, as soon as the beds are ready, warmed up later in March, end of March, you can just plant them out and they will get a head start. And that's sort of the same thing with all multi-sowing things, for me anyway. Some things I've seen that you can multi-sow, like for example spinach or fennel, but for me they always run to seed. So I think that's due to lack of water. So by multi-sowing them, you're kind of making it more likely that, for me anyway, my experience makes it even more likely that they'll bolt. So for those, I prick out and grow on individually. But it's all about testing, see what works for you. Right, so that's bolt hardy beetroot and peas for shoots sown again. First of March. There's just so many helicopters going past here these days. Some of them I know are for the hospital, but yeah, that's one of the military helicopters. The ones with 2 propellers, I can never remember what they're called. Anyway, so what I've got left to sow from my February lot is my broad beans. So I've got 3 varieties, and I'm gonna sow a few of each, just 6 of each, and I sow a single seed in each cell. I like to use these, they're quite deep and they're perfect for this. And I also have a wizard field bean, and they're sown the same way. So I've already overwintered Aqua Dolce, long pod broad bean and the wizard field bean, so they will be the first harvest, but I'm hoping that these will then have consecutive harvests. And I'm sort of trying out the varieties this year to see what combination works best in terms of succession. So I don't want too many at the same time, and I also don't have the space. You sort of have to weigh it up. How much do you love broad beans and how much space do you want to give them, because they actually take up quite a lot of space. They're beans, so they tiller, and that means that they send up lots of different shoots, not just one stem that comes up, but several different ones. So they actually spread out quite a lot and take up a lot of space in your bed. So be a bit careful with how many you sow. But yeah, so I've got 4 varieties including the field bean, so 6 of each. And these are just reused from garden center plugs. They're starting to break up, but they still work. With broad beans, a lot of people are worried about them, which way you should plant them. I find just putting them flat, they sort of sort themselves out. But if you're a person who tends to overwater, then maybe don't do that. Plant them sideways, just in case they rot. So I always water my trays after sowing from underneath, so there won't be water sitting on top of it as if when you're watering from above. And the other thing with beans, any broad beans, any peas, is mice love them. So I always germinate them inside my house. First of all, it's faster doing it that way, and second of all, they have less access and they're less interested in them after they've started growing. So you have to worry about them less then, so you can just move them out into your greenhouse once they've popped up. Right, so I've sorted out my flower seeds. I've got my cosmos, sage, some random stuff, Rebecca's, snapdragons and daisies. I'm all going to put in a tray for pricking out. And then I've got sweet peas, forget-me-nots, lobelia and black-eyed Susans. I'm going to module sow instead. The flaxseed, I'm gonna probably put them aside and then direct sow them in April instead with my other direct sown, because yeah, I think they will grow better that way. And then we'll put in a tray on its own the Aqualegia. Oh, now I've got the packet wet. That's not good. because apparently they can take 3 months to germinate, so they'll have their own little tray. And then there's the violas, so they're going to germinate in the greenhouse 10 to 15 degrees. The other ones will go in the house to germinate, so they will also have their own little place. So let's start with those. So a lot of them need light to germinate. So the violas are covered. So I'm just going to sow them across here, and then that'll be it. Let's see how many millions of seeds we got in this one. See what it says. 15 seeds. Okay, I'll probably sow all of them. Right, so the tray for the Equilegius doesn't have any drainage holes in it, so Equilegius are probably best sown in September and overwintered in your greenhouse, I'd say, rather than doing it this way. So we'll see if we get any this year. I think there's 25 seeds, so I'll sow them all again. So on this one, you cover the seed with a fine sprinkling of compost or vermiculite, and then you do not exclude light from the tray because that will help with germination. So I'll put this in a windowsill inside. You should have it between 15 to 20 degrees. Yeah, we'll see. And hopefully this will be the only time I need to sow them, because they'll self-sow like crazy, I hope. I think that's me for today. It's getting quite chilly again now. It's time to go get my kid from nursery, and Raska's had enough. She's basically just been whining the last half hour or so. It's coming up to tea time, isn't it? And you know it. Yeah, I'll show you what I got up to. You've been watching me sow all the seeds. So I got through quite a lot. We have a few veg, some beetroot and some pea shoots, and then there's the broad beans, and then a lot of flowers. So I got my sweet peas done, and then the cosmos, the snapdragons. Raska, oh my god, you stop pushing me. You stop pushing me, please. There's still 20 minutes to go to your lunch. Lunch? Your food. Don't try to trick me. Yeah, so I did a lot of broad sowing and then more sweet peas, and I was actually ran out of seed for some of them, so I'm gonna have to save more this year. But yes, so now I have to transport all of these trays inside. It'll be fun. Huh? I could potentially put the sweet peas in here if I put a higher one more layer up. It's quite sturdy, but obviously the higher it gets, less sturdy it gets. So that's the sturdiness comes from the dahlia pots I've got on the bottom. They're quite heavy, so they're just sort of holding it. But I think yeah, I might just bring them inside, and then hopefully the new greenhouse will be done. So yeah, I think that's the next job. It's really crucial time now. Need to get that other greenhouse. So it's so sunny. I need to get that other greenhouse done and dusted. There it is, looking at me. Raska, you want to go inside? Yeah, I think it's time. What a great day. So it's Wednesday. I've just finished work until maybe I need to pick up a bit more in the afternoon, but I'm gonna have a break and go outside to the plot. But first I thought I'd update you on the chilli situation. I repotted them all and they're looking really happy. But yeah, I've just got a little bit distracted by this amazing amaryllis. So it's the second flower stalk, and it's almost more beautiful this time around. It's just incredible. And I also have my sweet potatoes and my ginger. So the ginger, nothing much is happening. A piece of it wasn't doing very well, so I broke it off and removed it. It did look like there was some growth maybe coming, but I'm just not sure it's going to work. However, the sweet potato, the one in the water, you can see really well that the roots are growing. But I actually looked underneath the one in the tray of compost, and from looking at the amount of roots coming through, that one is actually doing better. So the reason why I tried that way was because I read a blog post about it saying that it's actually faster generating slips when you put the sweet potato in compost. So we'll see. There's no slips growing on either yet, but the root system is more developed on the one in the compost tray. But yes, the chilies are all doing well. I've had to set up another seedling nursery in my bookshelf, really in anticipation of the tomatoes. So, knowing how many varieties of tomatoes I've got, this space I have set up now isn't going to be enough. So I'm not sure what to do, whether to buy an even further grow light or thin down the amount of chilies and peppers and aubergines I've got, and loofahs. Yeah, I mean, it's the same problem every year, isn't it? But yes, they're doing really well, and they all recovered from being potted on. I haven't lost a single one, so I mean, that's bad and good at the same time. And I forgot, I was going to update you on the loofah as well. So this is one of the less good ones, but yeah, they're coming along. So I lost one. So I don't know if you remember when I was potting them up, there was one that had a yellowing root, and that one didn't make it. So it didn't come up when the other ones did, and I had to dig around. So it had started growing, but then just didn't make it all the way up. So, but I still have 5, so I think that's plenty. And then I'm growing a house or a micro tomato this year. So I've sown them already. I haven't sown any other tomatoes yet because A, I don't have time, and B, there's still plenty of time. So the ones I have decided on growing inside the greenhouse or in the back garden where it's really, really warm, them I'm going to start sometime between middle of March and end of March, because otherwise they'll run out of space too quickly before they can go out. And the ones that are growing in the beds, I'm going to have to start in April. So I might just have to delay as far as possible because of space issues. But these guys, they're just going to grow on the windowsill anyway, so I can pot them up now. And yeah, I might bring them outside and do that ASAP, because it's still quite warm. I can do it in the greenhouse, hopefully, if I can squeeze in. We'll see. But yeah, so I sowed 6 seeds, 5 came up. It's not too bad. So it's just called a house tomato from real seeds. So it'll be a small cherry. I don't know what the flavor is like. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, when did I sow these? 16th of February. But yeah, no more delaying. Time to go outside. So it looks like another glorious afternoon. I wasn't expecting it to be so warm. It's been so chilly all morning, running between buildings at work and stuff. But yeah, I actually had to take my coat and my hat off. The tomatoes are now cozily tucked up in the greenhouse. I need to bring out my automatic opener. I keep forgetting to put it in. So some of these days it gets super warm in there, and it's not great for the seedlings, like the extreme temperatures, right? So it would be better if it was a little bit cooler during the day when it's in full sun, you know. But yeah, so maybe I'll do the tomatoes first, and then I'll get on with the mulching. So the weather is just, it's a bit weird. So it's just started spitting. I can tell because the rain is like making noises on the plastic that's lying around the plot. A bit weird. Anyway, I won't mind. I'll just keep going. Oh yeah, no, I got it on my glasses. See that? Oh, there's the rain on my glasses. If you don't believe me, I mean. So tomatoes, like all things potting on, always bury the stem, and it's specifically important with tomatoes if you're growing them inside, because they tend to just romp away. These are dwarf, so they're probably not going to do that. But in any case, anytime you pot them on, you bury the stem. So all those little hairs that you can see on the stem of a tomato, they have the potential of becoming new roots. So tomatoes are really easy to pot on for that reason, and they really respond well to it. So I thought I'd just let you know I've set up an Amazon affiliate shop associated with my Instagram and my YouTube, because I get a lot of questions about where to buy stuff, you know, stuff I use. So I thought I'd include some links in the description to this video. For example, if you're wondering where I get my grow lights from, or which grow lights I buy, and the vermiculite, for example, or the perlite I use to make my potting mix, all that stuff I get from Amazon. Amazon isn't great, and if you have an alternative, fine. I don't. It is by far the most convenient way for me to shop. I cannot get to a garden center, and it's just the way it works. So if you click on the link and you buy something, then a percentage of that will go to me. It's not that you pay anymore, but Amazon will pay me something. I don't know how much it is actually, probably not going to be a lot, but it's something. I'm going to put that any money that I make towards investing further into the allotment, and you know, buy more seeds, buy more compost, buy more whatever. So I guess it's a vicious circle. Right, so I finished the tomatoes and I went to bring them inside because it got cold fairly quick there. And now that I'm out again, it's raining, so I've had to upgrade to my raincoat. So all the heavy lifting is going to be happening in the rain now. Isn't that great? So I wish I could say that this is the last bed I need to mulch, but it's not. I still got my strawberries and my raspberries and my fruit bushes and things like that to mulch. However, that should be fairly quick, and I just haven't got around to it. But I think strawberry bed is the next one up after this one. It is a fairly easy job, so I'm not too worried about that. I should get that done in the next week or so. Yeah, so I know I did say I was going to start digging for the greenhouse, but it's just raining a little bit too much for me, so I'm just going to postpone it. Because it's clay, it just becomes like glue in the rain, so I'd rather just wait for it to dry out a little bit. Question is though, will I get it dug out before the rain sets in? I think we're prognosed to have like 7 days of rain starting from like the weekend, so I better get on it. But I'm gonna leave the vlog for this week here. You can see me dig in the next vlog, hopefully, and not just hiding in the greenhouse. So if you've been watching this far, thank you very much. You made it. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. It all really helps. And with that, I will leave you and wish you a good weekend. And I'll see you next Friday. Same time, same place.